is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, and Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson.
Ambulance speeds through Peyton Place on its way to the Harrington house. Dr. Michael Rossi only knows there's been a shooting. He doesn't know the cause or the victim.
Give me a tetanus cycle. Bullet's still in him, apparently in the lung. Call the hospital, have him set up the operating room for a thoracectomy. Also ask him to get Dr. Morton. I'll need his help, and the x-ray technicians have them standing by. We'll give him plasma in the ambulance. All right, you can have him. Keep him prone. What happened?
George Anderson broke into the house. He wanted to kill me. Then Elliot Carson came and tried to stop him. Somehow, the gun went off.
Where's George now?
Well, he was quiet when we got here, but then he went wild. I had him taken down to the station right away.
Sergeant, you'd better call Dr. Kessler at Greenville. Anderson is a patient of his. Excuse me.
Dr. Rossi, how bad is it?
It's bad.
Will he live?
Well, he's alive now. Excuse me.
Mr. Harrington, I know this has been tough on you, but I do have to ask you a few questions.
Joe, I've already told you all the facts. I'll come down to the station tomorrow and answer any further questions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harrington. I have to have certain things for my report right now.
All right, but I've had quite a night.
Well, I can appreciate that. I won't take long. Now, what about that gun?
It's mine.
Yours?
I took it out for protection.
What made you think you needed protection?
Well, George Anderson broke in here after all. He'd been to my office this afternoon, and he was quite an abusive man. Now, look, I have a permit for that gun. I certainly have a right to protect my home.
I'm not accusing you of anything, Mr. Harrington.
Then why can't these questions wait?
Because a man was injured tonight with your gun. I want to know how George Anderson got hold of it.
All right. When I discovered George here, I covered him with a revolver and ordered him to leave.
But he managed to take it away from you?
Yes, he threatened me. Then Elliot Carson came and tried to talk to him. When that didn't work, he lunged at him. The gun went off. Now, certainly that's enough for your report.
It still leaves a few unanswered questions. Oh, Mr. Swain.
Sergeant?
Hello, Matt. We've had quite a time up here.
Yes, I know. I called the station as soon as I heard the sirens.
Being a good newspaper man, you're also here to ask questions. Joe here's been grilling me as if I were a vagrant.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Mr. Harrington. You'll stop by in the morning.
I've said I would.
All right. Good night, sir. Mr. Swain.
You were pretty rude to him. He's only doing his job.
I'm on the board that gave him that job, remember?
Leslie, you can't expect special treatment, not in a case like this.
I know. I just want time to organize my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you organize them too carefully, suppose you tell me what Elliot Carson was doing up here.
Oh, yes, there's excitement. The people, nightlife. But you know, Norman, there's also a very creative atmosphere in Paris.
It sounds great. I hope to travel when I finish school.
I think you should.
I enjoy talking to you. And you know, it's funny the way you just happened along tonight when I seem to need you.
What do you mean?
Well, the night I had the trouble at the pillory. And tonight. You came along, we talked, and I get a free ride home.
It won't be long until you start to think of me as your guardian angel.
There must have been an accident. I wonder who got hurt.
Yes, I wonder.
Now, I've told you everything that happened.
You mean that Paul Hanley goaded George into this?
I think so, somehow. Matt, I want you to stop peddling in the paper.
You do?
There's no reason to go into detail. It can only cause trouble.
You've been asking for trouble for a long time, Leslie.
What do you mean?
I know about Elizabeth Carson's diary.
Oh.
I also know you threatened Constance.
I'm sorry about that, Matt. I thought it was necessary.
Necessary?
At the time.
To even consider destroying Allison.
I was fighting to hold on to the mill.
Oh, yes.
For my sons.
All right. The fight's over. You've lost. What are you going to do now? I don't know what was in that diary.
There's nothing that could incriminate me in a court of law.
Not in a court, perhaps, but it might incriminate you in the eyes of Peyton Place. Of the people you've lived with, worked with.
Hi, Dad. Mr. Swain.
Perhaps even in your sons.
What's up? We passed an ambulance and 2 police cars on the way here.
Is your brother with you?
No, Mr. Hanley gave me a lift home. Dad, what happened?
There's been some excitement, Norman. I'll explain it to you. Matt. Thanks, Matt. About that story. I was wrong to ask what I did.
I know you were.
Just write what you feel like writing.
I always do.
Just remember one thing. Whatever's happened lately, I was once your very good friend.
I remember that. I also remember once that Lucifer was an angel.
Hello. I brought Norman home.
Yes, I know.
Thought I ought to wait around for a while.
Oh? Why?
Well, we passed an ambulance on the way up, and naturally I assumed that, well...
You assume that Leslie Harrington was hurt? That's the way you planned it, isn't it? But it didn't turn out that way. George shot Elliot Carson.
Elliott? What was Elliott doing up here?
Trying to undo the trouble you started?
Did you reach Dr. Morton?
Yes, he's on his way over.
You stay here on the desk. We'll need Miss Thompson in OR.
Frank, pick up a chart.
What happened? Oh, some guy named Anderson shot him.
Bad?
Pretty bad.
Oh, no. Oh, Dr. Rossi? No, he didn't do it. Doctor.
Listen, I think you better go home. Stay with your father.
I can't leave the desk.
Frank, take over the desk until Miss Choate sends for someone.
Yes.
Betty, go home. Now.
ready.
Where's my mother?
She's home. She needs you. I'm looking for Dr. Rossi.
Sorry, ma'am. He's in the operating room.
That man they just brought in, is he still alive?
He was 2 minutes ago.
Dr. Morton?
I'm sorry. I can't stop now.
The lung had already collapsed. We started plasma in the ambulance.
Good.
How's he doing?
Patient's almost ready, Doctor.
We matched his blood type, Doctor.
Hang up the first unit, please.
I'm a little worried about the position of the bullet.
Looks like it's lodged behind the heart, awfully close to the aorta.
Stage 3, Doctor.
All right.
You have to go in right away?
Well, it is getting late.
I enjoyed our little session at the library, Miss Mackenzie. I thank you. My books thank you. My teachers thank you.
You didn't get much studying in.
Well, the fact that I studied it all is a tribute to your influence. Let's do it again tomorrow night.
Well...
That is, unless you want me to fail.
Oh, no, wait, that's not fair.
Think of the honor that could be yours. I graduated at the top of my class. They make me valedictorian. And my whole speech is centered around the value of studying with Allison Mackenzie.
You're tempting me.
Tomorrow night.
Well, all right. Looks like nobody's home. That's strange.
Why?
Because my mother didn't tell me she was going out.
Does your mother tell you everything?
No.
Come on, I'll walk you to the door. Oh, now I'm doing it.
Doing what?
Taking care of Allison Mackenzie. Sooner or later, everybody...
Oh, no, don't say that. It makes me sound like the town project or something.
Hey, how you doing with our feathered friends?
Oh, they're fine. You know, this morning the first robin stopped at that thing.
How does it go? One robin doesn't make a swallow.
Oh, you...
Seriously.
Seriously. Seriously, I do feel serious sometimes.
Allison.
Telephone.
Let it ring. Or some cliche to that effect.
Hello? Hello? Rodney?
I'm right here. Well, you might as well take off your coat. You live here. Rodney? Rodney, why don't you take off your coat? No?
Oh, yes, you can stay, but...
Must there be a but?
I know there shouldn't be.
But. Ah, but. But there is one.
Yes.
Then good night, Allison.
Rodney.
Good night, Allison. Not goodbye.
Thank you.